I'm back again today, guys. Before we were 1 million cups, I did one of the initial presentations. So, Mercantile Processing, we're a payment processing and business services company. We're based out of Roxana, Delaware. I call it the little town hub of Sussex County. We have one red light. We're 5 employees, W-2. We've got 12 1099 contractors throughout the U.S. We specialize in credit card processing, ATM machines, payroll. But today I want to talk to you about one of our newer products that we've been running. We've been selling it for about 1.5 years now. So we sell a point-of-sale product. Point-of-sale is not new. That's not the new portion of what we do, but it does do basic functionality that restaurants need, so I'm glad I'm following a restaurant person. It does your order tracking, your employee tracking, time clocks, inventory controls, you accept your payments, you can reduce errors, you can identify theft within your industry, track what your losses are, things along those lines. So point-of-sale is not new, but what we've done is kind of taken point-of-sale and we've put it up in the cloud. So that's what's something new that's going to be, keeping the costs down while keeping your maintenance up and allow you to monitor your back end a little bit better. So how do you take this and put this in the cloud? So let's first talk about the cloud. I know it's a term that everybody just kind of throws out there. The cloud is basically on a server on the internet. We're actually storing all the data for the restaurant. So all the sales in real time, all the what's being sent to the kitchen in real time, all that information is stored in the cloud in real time and being sent directly to the kitchen wirelessly or wired, and then also stored up in our cloud's database. It's triple backed up, so we have a database in Arizona, one in China, and one up in Canada. So it's all being constantly backed up. So at any given time, you lose power, things go down, you turn everything back on, it's all back to normal because you're actually pulling off that cloud information. You're not worried about a server, you're not worried about computers crashing, you're not worried about lightning storm. It's all up in that cloud. You guys actually did get to use, if you bought coffee today, one of our systems is here at Java 101. That's one of our existing point-of-sale systems as well. So what did we do to kind of go up with this? So MPI teamed up with a company called POS Lavu. Lavu specializes in iPad-based point-of-sale systems. So in addition, so we talked about point-of-sale. So point-of-sale's been around for a long time. You have Micros, you have Aloha. In a classic point-of-sale situation, you would need to buy a server to put in your back office. Each system would have to have a computer. Each system would have to have a touch screen. In our situation, basically all you have is your iPad. If I had a laser, that seems to work. You have basically just your regular iPad. It's attached through an Airport Express to your receipt printer and your cash drawer. That's it. Okay? So you're talking about cost-wise. When you normally have a touch screen, a computer system and all that, you're looking at $1,200 to $1,500 a unit. We can get it down to right around $500. We can't really mark up. You can go to Walmart and buy the iPad. You can go to Apple Store and buy the iPad. So for us, it's one of those things where we're trying to focus on the service side of the actual point-of-sale system, not on the actual hardware, which allows us to be much more competitive in those larger systems. Everything can be set up wirelessly. So in addition, you're going into a new restaurant. So a restaurateur is coming in, he has to wire his entire restaurant. He may be taking over a space from somebody else, doing the redesign, all of that. Usually that runs just to wire a restaurant, you're talking about $4,000 or $5,000 right there. Well, everything with a POS Lavu system is all wireless, so the printers in the kitchen can print wirelessly. So you want to move this printer over to here, you don't have to worry that you have to run a cable across. It just prints wirelessly. If you want to move your iPad somewhere else in the building, you don't have to worry about moving the wires. You just take the iPad, move it over, it's good to go. In addition to the iPad system, we can also place orders on your iPhone or your iPod. So you have servers going to the table, placing the order on their iPad. As soon as they hit the send button, it's already printing in the kitchen. So they can move on to their next table versus going over back to the point-of-sale system, keying it in, sending it to the kitchen, coming back out and taking the next order. So, and then the iPods can also take signatures. So the way we're heading now with security is people don't want to give their credit card to the server to take back to the point-of-sale system. They want it swiped right at the location. We have a couple of our clients doing this now, but you're actually able to swipe the credit card and hit the signature on the iPad and give it right back to the customer. So it's kind of given us an upgrade in the modern times. This is kind of happening in Europe already, but we're trying to push it out here in the US. The best example I have, we have a pool bar down in Ocean City who's a client of ours. The server actually walks around the outside of the pool, takes all the drink orders, she's placing all the orders on her iPod as she goes along. By the time she gets back to the bar in a full circle, almost all of her drinks are already done. In her old system, she would have to go out and get the order, key it all into the point of sale, wait for the bartender to finish all the drinks, and then walk them back out again. So she's cutting down her time, so by the time she's making her laps around that bar, she's serving, filling up, and serving again, and keying them in as she's serving them. So it does speed up time, speed up turnover, and increase sales for the restaurant. So for us, why did we pick POS Lavu? Lavu has been seen on Kitchen Nightmares. They've been on 2 or 3 of their episodes. So every time one of those episodes airs, we usually get 1 or 2 calls. So they've had some national recognition. In addition, we have agents in Massachusetts, New York, Philadelphia, Newark, Ocean City. We actually have one over in Jersey. So when someone does call Lavu, we actually get if we're the nearest point of contact, we get the lead from them. So we actually just picked up our first Rhode Island client and our first New Hampshire client because we are the only pin up there in Massachusetts. So we basically get that whole Northeast quadrant for our clients. It's an advantage to our agents too. In our industry, the agents can put processing deals with basically any company. So we try and give them the incentive to put it with us because we are providing the POS Lavu service. Why Lavu works really well for us is it pairs well with all the rest of our products because Lavu will track time clocks, will track how many hours the employees are there so we can sell our payroll product. It does the rewards, it does the gift cards so we can sell our gift card product, we can do our text message reward programs. Then obviously the credit card processing, if you're a restaurant, you're accepting credit cards through the point of sale. So we can pair everything together and have a full service point of sale system with all of our products so we can keep the cost for the restaurant down because we're going to make money over time through the extra products that we sell. We just got a new client in Jersey this year for the preseason. They were hit with a hurricane, so they had an insurance check for their point of sale system that was totally wiped out by the hurricane. They had about $20,000 what the insurance company gave them for the point of sale system. She shopped it out. The 3 quotes she got were us and 2 others. The other 2 came in at $22,000 and $24,000. We got it in there at $11,000 and still made money on it. So this system is allowing us to be much more competitive price-wise, get newer clients, and also holding them for a longer period of time because we're providing the service along with the actual point-of-sale system. So right now we're in the system's in 14 businesses. We're adding about 2 or 3 new a month. It is newer because iPads have only been around for 2 or 3 years. So the system is working its way through, and it constantly grows. The cloud-based system allows us to push down updates. Every time the company comes up with a new product or a new feature, it pushes right down to the merchant. When most merchants are used to paying for the upgrade or paying for the next version, our system includes all that, and it gets pushed down through the cloud to the merchant. So as these new upgrades come through, it works perfectly for them. We just got a new upgrade that allows online ordering, which is great. So if a merchant has a website, you can go on their website and place an order for their to-go menu, pay for it on there. All the merchant has to do is hit select and say, okay, I accept this order, and emails the customer saying your order will be ready in whatever set amount of time they had set up, so 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It kicks it over to the kitchen. The kitchen knows it's to go, so when the customer shows up, all they gotta do is grab their to-go stuff, and they're good to go. So that's one of our newest features, but it does have every other standard POS feature as well. So that's it.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments for Kyle?
How does your maintenance work? Is it a blanket fee for the whole year, or is it by the hour?
It's ongoing, so there's a monthly service fee for POS Lavu, which includes up to 3 hours of us coming out to the location. It includes the storage because there's no server. They do have to store it off-site. In addition, it includes all the upgrades. Depending on how big the restaurant is, it runs anywhere from $39 a month up to $129 a month, depending on the size of the restaurant.
Okay, thank you.
So how did you find out about Lavu? Like, where was your first?
Our first initial, the Vintage Cafe up in Milton. She's a client of ours. You know, when we just decided she was shopping out point of sale systems, had recommended it, we started getting into it, and she was the one who did all the research for us. I can't take credit. Amy up there I can give her all the credit for this. She pointed this out to us. We started looking into it. We paid the licensing fee to get with them, and then since then we've been very happy with the team up because we've tried out others in the past, and they don't have the service that matches our service level. These guys have lived up to that reputation, so that's why we ended up finding them and with them through a restaurant recommendation. Yeah.
One more question.
Sure, go ahead.
No worries. So it seems as though you got into it for processing, you know, and for the business side of it. How has the tech side, or how are you going along with the technology with it? How are you training, and how are you keeping up to date? It seems like easy, but it seems also like, you know, if you go at it from a business point of view, how is the technology following?
Yeah, so it's an application, so it's on an iPad, which is great. So you download the app. It's, I mean, like any other application on your iPad, it tells you when there's updates available. They just download the updates, and what we found is, and this is, the servers are fine with it. So the servers they've grown up on iPads, they're on those things every day. They're the ones who are just click, 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 click. They pick it all up, the slides, the drops. The restaurant owners, it's been a little bit more of a, push to, hey, you need to learn this. You don't use this every day like your servers do and like your managers do. So that's been one of those training methods for us. But it is very intuitive on the front end, and on the back end, it's very robust. I think a lot of times it's almost too robust for a lot of the restaurant owners. It's a matter of showing them, hey, you're not using this feature, you're not using this feature. So all the features are included in the price. It's a matter of getting the restaurant owners trained to use all the features so they can pay for it themselves. So if you cut down a loss, on inventory or over ordering or whatever else, the POS system should pay for itself within 2 or 3 years in loss or time management and stuff along those lines.
Now, do you do the training and sit with the customers through all the different types of reports that are available, pull the reports, explain gross margin, that sort of thing? Because with the clients that I deal with, I work for Delaware Center for Women's Entrepreneurship, and I do training on the point of sale system. A lot of them get the reports, but they really don't know how to read them.
Yeah, I usually try and recommend. I have a great accountant, and I recommend most people have somebody. So if that's not your background, having a great accountant is great. And the good part about a cloud-based system, you can give them a login ID and password, and your accountant can log in and see in real time all your everything, taxes, the works. We do show them all the reporting, but teaching them how to read it beyond. So if most restaurant owners have been through all, like you said, you started server and you made your way all the way through. So they've done most of that, but if you're starting from scratch, usually I recommend a good accountant because you want to have somebody who can analyze along with while you're just running your business. So, but the reports, we do show them how to use everything. So we have a multi-step training where how to set up your menu, how to do all that, so.
Kyle, I think you said last time that you started out of the UD dorm with the idea. How can you summarize how have you gotten to where you are now with that regional presence in so little time?
Sure. I guess it's been come about 8 years now. So I started as a sophomore in college up at University of Delaware, started the company. I was doing sales down here in the summer and then ended up doing a lot of, living down here most of the time and commuting back to UD for the business. The biggest thing, he talks about word of mouth marketing. That's what it comes down to around here, specifically in this area. If you do a good job for one person, when you go back to them 2 months later and say, hey, are you happy? Are you good? Do you have any friends that, might also want our service? If you did a good job, they're going to pass you on to somebody else. And that's unique to Delmarva, I think. We have had businesses that have come to us from DC, Philadelphia, and they're the ones who will switch for a penny. A transaction. So for us, it's, I think this area is very unique in that word of mouth works the best out of everything. We are finding in different regional areas that we have to compete on different levels and focus largely on contract terms and things along those lines. So I would say success would be in our service and our word of mouth, but as we're growing, it's going to change the way we have to do our business. So,
Other questions?
You mentioned that there was a certain amount of technical support that was included in the cost of it. But what about when, do you always have to go out onto location to help out with that technical service?
okay, and Keller's one of our interns, so he's not a plant. He's an intern in our office. So for the on-site, so most of our stuff we can do remotely, and because it is an iPad, if something goes wrong with that iPad specifically, they're under warranty, literally we can send them a new iPad in the mail, walk them through downloading the application. As soon as the application comes up and loads, they're back up and running. So pretty much most of our maintenance can be done remotely. That's why we can keep the costs down. There are some situations where we've had network issues. We've had to go out and fix network issues. But most of it, because there's no actual physical computer, most of it can be done remotely and or just by replacing a piece of equipment. Via, it's just plug and play.
Any other questions or comments?
Do you have any feedback from the restaurant patrons about their response to having their menus taken on an iPad versus a pad, particularly in these more boutique venues. I mean,
Right.
kind of used to it at IHOP or something, but, you know, in these discrete venues.
Sure,
little
yeah,
upscale.
absolutely. So you're worry about the intimacy of the restaurant, you know, the nice menus that they've taken, they print out every day and it's up to date and all that. There's two sides to it. So yes, my server's not paying attention to me, they're on their iPad. So there's that mentality, I understand that side of things. The flip side is though, if they're saying, okay, well, what do you think about the scallops today? Well, they can actually grab the item on their iPad, pull down on it, and show them a picture of what they're gonna order. So in a day when you have an Applebee's who has a picture of everything that they're trying to push out to sell versus a restaurant that's giving you the freshest, newest thing, they're not gonna have pictures of all their items, but if the chef made it that day, they took a picture on the iPad and uploaded it to the system, now the server can show those pictures to the customer and maybe make the upsell. You know, maybe you want this appetizer, maybe you want this dessert. If I showed you a picture of the cheesecake, are you more likely to buy it than if I just told you about it? So there's two sides to it. So I do see both. I've not been, my degree is hotel restaurant management. So I've actually had a hard time with the iPods in my mentality because you're used to having the server write it down, or I'd always memorize if it's a 4-top or less. So to see those out there, it's a little weird, but I think people are getting used to it, and as it becomes more mainstream, it's going to become more commonplace. And they're going to want to see those pictures. They're going to want to see, you know, what are the ingredients? Is it gluten-free? Well, now you have that at your hand versus, let me go ask the chef. So.
Are there any other questions or comments? Okay. Kyle, how can we support you?
Spread the word locally. Lava is already doing it for us, but we are trying to get in the restaurant industry. There are a couple major players down here that have gotten a very strong hold on the area, so we just need to break into more restaurants when they are being built, which is the hard time because they're getting bombarded by 1,000 other people. So if you have any restaurants that are opening and they are shopping this out, you know, have them give us a chance. We're low pressure sales, and we're just, here's what we have, here's what we offer, and go from there.
Great. Great presentation. Thank you.
Thanks.